Good afternoon, all of you, and a very warm welcome to EduTap. If the sound is clear, if the audio is clear and the video is clear, the screen is clearly visible to you and you can see what is written here, then just let me know in the chat section. I am waiting for your responses. Let me know in the chat section. Just type a thumbs up or, just type anything that with which I'm actually able to confirm that all the technicalities are sorted. And then we'll begin our today's discussion. Yes. All right. And it's your name. Can you hear me? Can you see me? All fine. All fine. All right, Sumit. Thank you. All right. All right. Okay. See, we operate completely online. For the doubt that is coming, so you can contact us at the number or email ID given in the description, and can get the further details. So yes, welcome again to EduTap, and I'm Surbhi Sardana. I'm taking this ACE answer writing session with you for RBI Grade B Phase 2 examination, which happens this weekend. And see, we have been discussing a lot of answers since more than a week. Today it's the turn of finance. For finance, we have allocated 2 days, and today it is the first day for finance. So we'll take a lot of expected and good questions for finance. If you're somebody who's feeling underconfident regarding the content regarding your phase 2, or if you want your preparation to be polished regarding phase 2, then this is the live crash course you must subscribe to as soon as possible. It is very economical, and in this live crash course, teachers would be interacting with you through their live classes. They will also be giving you short notes at the end of every lecture. You will also be provided with mind maps to retain the information better. I know a lot of you have contacted me regarding the problems related with data. You're not able to remember data or facts regarding some reports or current affairs. So those mind maps would be provided to you, so you do not have to worry there. Current affairs would be inculcated in the notes, and separate documents for current affairs for both objective and descriptive part would be provided. And it is followed by a test series. Test series is attached with the live crash course. And if you feel that you cannot you do not want the full content, or you do not want to sit through classes, what you can do is you can buy the test series separately. So the test series contain all the respective tests in the exact examination format. For example, we have ESI, 2 tests for ESI, 2 tests for finance and management. Then for current affairs, there is a separate test, and then you finally have full length test in the exact interface that you are going to get in RBI Grade B Phase 2 examination this weekend. So yes, mind maps for all the subjects that form a part of your syllabus for phase 2. Mind maps for all these subjects would be provided. In fact, you will get a lot of questions solved for your descriptive writing, and a lot of PYQ solved for your objective part. Also, you'll get a lot of sample questions. And in the previous years also, it has been seen that so many questions directly from our course, they have been seen directly in phase 2 examination, phase 1 examination, of course, phase 2 also. So definitely subscribe to it if you're feeling that you're lagging behind your other peers. And the details regarding the live crash course and test series, they are available in the description. You can click on that after this session. Do not leave the session to buy the crash course. Buy it after the session. And first of all, just have this thing in your mind that you can write great answers. I know there is a lot of panic and anxiety around the few number of days left, but let's agree to this fact, let's accept this fact that RBI gives us only very few days to prepare for phase 2. And if you have cracked phase 1, that means you have the capability to able to present yourself very well in phase 2 also, if you stay tuned to these discussions. So yes, you can write great answers even with the paucity of days. So this is the plan that we have been following. First of all, every day I take a live session with you on our YouTube channel, on EduTap channel at 3 p.m. Apart from this, look at the plan. We started on July 14 on Friday, and we started by understanding how to write good answers. What should be the structure for a good answer that gets you more and more marks in the examination? At least, few marks more than what other aspirants or other competitors are getting. So if you want to have an access to all these previous discussions which have taken place from July 14 to 22, just click on go to EduTap YouTube channel and click in the live section. In the live section, if you scroll, you will get all these discussions one after the another. So you can start from the session on July 14, that was about art of writing good introduction. Then we learned art of writing good body part, and then we finally moved on to art of writing good conclusion. After that, we allocated 4 good days for understanding ESI. We discussed a lot of questions regarding economic and social issues, and most of these questions, they have been taken from contemporary affairs, and they have the latest data in them, latest facts in them. So definitely check these 4 videos out, or if you do not have time to watch those videos, at least download the PDFs of these respective sessions from our Telegram channel and go through those PDFs. All right, so today we are here. That's July 24, Monday. We are at finance. So this is something that we are beginning today. And so your paper 1, economic and social issues, descriptive part, 4 out of 6 questions to be attempted. This part is done. Objective part is being taken by Kritika ma'am in her live session separately. Paper 2, that is English writing skills. This is where we started. Narveer sir has taken separate live sessions regarding English writing skills, where he has covered Pressy, RCs and essay. So these marks are also covered for you. For finance and management, that is paper 3, objective and descriptive type. Again, objective is being taken by the subject experts. Descriptive is being taken by me. Starting from today itself, we are starting with finance. So here also we are following the same pattern. Out of the 6 questions, you just have to take 4, and these questions have to be ascribed 90 minutes, which will award you 50 marks. So these will be questions which will award you 10 marks or 15 marks, and you have to cover the paper for 50 marks, for a total of 50 marks. So 2 questions from each section, they will be there. And yes, now what we do is, for the people who are watching this session for the first time, what we do is, it's not just that I stand here and I teach. Taking live sessions, there is a purpose behind taking live sessions with you, and the purpose is to make you practice, to make you learn, and to put you in the habit of typing. So all of you watching this session right now, please get your fingers ready, get ready with your typing in whatever you have, whether it's a keyboard, whether it's a mobile phone. Just type with me whatever prompts I give for various parts of the question. Now the topics that we're covering today, they cover finance part of your syllabus. We'll be taking management later. So the first part in finance section is financial system. It includes regulators of banks and financial institutions. The second one is RBI, Reserve Bank of India, functions and conduct of monetary policy. So regarding monetary policy, we have seen a question in ESI also, that how monetary policy is not very effective to control inflation. So from here, I request you that even if you're not prepared for phase 2, at least prepare functions and conduct of monetary policy by RBI thoroughly. Then you have banking system in India, structure and concerns, financial institutions, SIDBI, Exim, NABARD, NHB, National Housing Bank, changing landscape of banking sector. So see from here, what you can see is, you can directly see a question regarding defining roles of any of these organizations. So that also becomes very important for you. Read in depth about these organizations, their functions, their changing roles, and the challenges associated. All right. Then you have the impact of global financial crisis of 2007 and 8 and the Indian response. See, now this has become an old topic for us, this financial crisis of 2007 to 8. You could see a question like impact of financial crisis after the COVID-19 pandemic, or the impact on economy after the COVID-19 pandemic, because that is even more important now. So I think that would be a general question, and you will be able to take that. Finally, you have financial markets, primary and secondary markets, forex, money, bond, equity, etc. Functions, instruments, recent developments. So see, here we are taking two questions which are very important. And if you know that, use of technology in finance, it has been seen a lot in the previous few years. All right, so can you suggest me few topics which you feel are highly likely to be seen in phase 2 examination? Then I will reveal the questions. Effect of upcoming technologies in financial inclusion, or in the financial landscape or the economy of your country. So yes, give me the prompts in the chat section. Yes, hello Rohit. E-rupee, CBDC. Yes, Amit. Yes, that's right. Central bank digital currency or e-rupee. This question is highly likely. So we'll be taking one question on central bank digital currency. We will not delve into the technical part of it. We'll just study its impacts, the challenges associated and the advantages. All right. And there are a few terms that you need to keep yourself aware with. So we'll discuss these terms here. Anything else? Has RBI come up with any new guidelines in the previous one year regarding any such sector? Previously, we saw that your non-banking financial companies, they were seeing a lot of regulation after all the scams, after the NPAs in NBFCs, they had gone up. So you saw a question regarding NBFCs? Anything which you know that RBI has released a guideline on? UCBs. Okay, see, guidelines regarding UCBs, they have been coming from time to time. If you, if you remember, last September, RBI released guidelines on digital lending. Loans which are actually guaranteed and availed through your digital lending platforms with the help of your mobile phones or any digital lending platform or software. So RBI released, exclusive guidelines for digital lending platforms. So first of all, what is digital lending? Challenges, advantages, and talking about the guidelines of RBI. That could be one question. But more recent is peer-to-peer lending. If you have been following newspapers for the past 1 month, peer-to-peer lending, P2P lending has been in news. So here we'll be explain the concept of P2P lending, digital lending. I told you as a topic because that's important for your exam. So prepare that. It's very general and I'm sure you've already read it. This is a more technical one. So we are discussing P2P lending. Explain the concept of P2P lending. What are the conceived challenges associated with peer-to-peer or P2P lending in India? How many of you can answer this question? Just let me know in the chat section. Yes, Sunil, that is right. Growing fintech cloud, that is also right. And your digital lending norms would be applicable there. How many of you can easily answer this question number 1? Or if you see anything in option, any other thing in option, let's say these two questions, there is an option to answer them. You will not see any option between 400 and 600 words question. But let's say you have a choice in answering these two questions. The second one is, what is central bank digital currency? Discuss the advantages and challenges associated with CBDC or e-rupee or central bank digital currency in India. Answer in 600 words for 15 marks. So which question are you more likely to attempt? Yes? Question number 1 or question number 2? Okay, Amit will take 2. And all others, which question are you more likely to attempt? Do you know more about central bank digital currency or e-rupee, or you know more about peer-to-peer or P2P lending? CBDC, of course. So see, of course, most of you are saying that you'll be taking this question. So what we'll do is, we'll utilize this class to understand the technicalities of CBDC, everything. The challenges, the positive impacts, the negative impacts, everything will be clear. So stay tuned. The first question is a bit tough. Though it is very tough question to handle, but the answer would be very general. Answer would be very general since the guidelines regarding P2P lending, they have not been released yet by RBI. All right, so we'll see how to address such questions and we'll see addressing these questions one by one. So since you're finding digital currency, CBDC is here. Let's approach the second question first. Let's approach central bank digital currency first. Let's take the second question first. And then we'll come back to the first one. Let's say it is compulsory to take first one. Then what will you do? All right. For all of you, just let me remind you the 4-step approach that we take. The first step is we identify the keywords and qualifying words in the question. Your keywords are your topics which are given in the question. You have to write about these topics in your answer. The qualifying words are opinions. Opinions of the examiner which are present in the question. Women empowerment is important. So important is your qualifying word. Women empowerment is the topic. The second one, recognize the directive. What, how, why, discuss, explain, elucidate, justify, do you agree, do you disagree. Framing micro questions, that is, we break our long questions into small parts, and for every micro question, we dedicate a separate body part so that we are able to answer, we are able to understand and answer all parts of the question. Then finally, what step do we take? We write a structured answer, introduction, body and conclusion, all included in that structured answer. All right, so let's move on to question number 2 first, and then we'll come back to your P2P lending. Also, after this discussion, the PDF for this entire session would be available. So you do not have to write notes, just try to type with me, and when you type with me, do not feel bad about the little knowledge that you have or the lack of knowledge that you feel. Just tell me in the chat section that how would you like to start your answer. All right, so here the question is, what is CBDC or central bank digital currency? Discuss the advantages and challenges associated with CBDC in India or central bank digital currency in India. Look at this question first. What are the keywords in this question? Keywords, qualifying words, directives. All right. So just let me know what are the keywords in this question. What is the topic or what are the topics in this question? What are the keywords here or what are the topics of this question? CBDC, yes, of course. The keyword is central bank digital currency. Is there a qualifying word? Is there an opinion which the examiner has or wants from you? Is there any opinion making word? Is there a qualifying word here? Any opinion making word? Any qualifying word that you can think of, any opinion that the examiner wants from you or has already. Advantages and challenges. Yes, Sunil, that's right. Advantages and challenges. Then what are the directives? What is the or what are the directives here? What is the first directive? The first directive is what itself. And the second directive is discuss. The first directive would be what and the second directive would be discuss. All right. So we have sorted out our question. We know we have to write about CBDC, central bank digital currency. And what we have to do? We have to write the what of it. What is it? Also, we have to write about advantages and challenges of central bank digital currency. We have to discuss the advantages and challenges. All right. So first of all, how will you start your answer? Look at the question again. How will you start your answer? Will you start your answer with some data, example, quote, or definition? It could be explanation. It could be definition. It could be some data, direct data. It could be some example or it could be some quote. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And you can take multiple approaches here. You can choose multiple options here, one after the other. Give me the order of what you will choose. All right. So many people, a lot of you, for example, Keshav says meaning, definition. Praveen says definition. Amit again says definition followed by data. And Sunil Bishnoi says that he will explain. He will take the explanation. So all these approaches are right. First of all, All right, so Neil says again explanation and definition. All right, so see, the first part of the question is what is central bank digital currency? So this is a brownie point for us. We do not have to focus, we do not have to worry about what we have to write in the introduction. We are getting the fodder for an introduction. We are getting the hint for an introduction from the question itself. So talk about what is CBDC, central bank digital currency. Then try to explain central bank digital currency. Does India have a central bank digital currency? Yes, we have it. And what do we call it? We call it the e-rupee, electronic rupee or e-rupee. And how does it operate? How does e-rupee or CBDC operate? Which platform it operates on? Does it operate on HTML? Does it operate on any other platform? How does it operate? Yes, are saying hello. Yes, blockchain. Yes, that's right. So use the word blockchain technology in your introduction itself. You'll appear so intelligent to the examiner. He will get to know that you know all of the things about CBDC, central bank digital currency. Now this question is for 15 marks. That means the first part of the question holds 7.5 marks. So defining, explaining, telling about the technology, and talking about that whether it is active in India or not. This will actually frame 100 words, not more than that. So you have to kind of extend it. How will you extend the first part? You don't have to make it vague, but how will you elaborate the first part more so that you can score 7.5 marks? How will you elaborate the first part more? Yes, you will give a definition, then you will explain it, you will give the data, or you will talk about the requisite technology. You'll say that it is blockchain technology that your e-rupee is functioning on. You'll say that yes, it is in a pilot mode. It is not fully operational for the entire country. What else can you talk about to expand this part? How will you expand here? Need of CBDC. Very good, Sunil. Why do we need central bank digital currency? Or need of CBDC, need of central bank digital currency. Secondly, you can also talk about the positive implications. What will be the positive impacts and why the government is trying to bring CBDC into picture, trying to bring e-rupee into picture. So let's see how we are going to elaborate it. Let's begin with our first line, first paragraph. A central bank digital currency is an electronic record or digital token of a country's official currency. As such, it is issued and regulated by the nation's monetary authority or central bank. CBDCs are in various stages of development around the world. India's own CBDC, that is digital rupee, was launched in pilot mode in December 2022. Using blockchain technology. Is that right? Is that simple to answer? We started with the definition. We also then, the first step was definition, followed by explanation. Then we talked about the current context, that CBDCs, they are being launched all over the world, and India also launched its own e-rupee or CBDC, which is known as e-rupee, and we launched it around December 2022. And now the pilot is in the second phase. That is, the pilot project is in the second phase. Now we are also going to tier 2 cities. There has been significant traction on the CBDC pilot, and retail customers and merchants from urban markets are showing interest. That means CBDC or e-rupee, it is actually becoming popular. So this is an additional line that we have given to just appreciate e-rupee, that yes, it is gaining popularity. The impact of CBDCs is being researched upon. However, a pan-India digital rupee can have the following positive implications. Now see here, the introduction was just about explaining what central bank digital currency is, and I am following it here with positive implications. What are the positive impacts? Now these are not asked, but what I'm doing here is to expand on it. I'm just writing four very short points to talk about central bank digital currency a little more. What I'm doing, I'm writing positive implications. What you can do is talk about the need of bringing central bank digital currency. Talk about why a central bank digital currency or e-rupee is even wanted. All right, the need and the positive impacts, it would be almost the same content, but your heading would differ. All right, so what is the first need to bring central bank digital currency? Why is CBDC or e-rupee even needed? Yes, reduction in printing cost of currency. That's right. That will be helped. Or what can be the positive effects of introducing central bank digital currency or e-rupee? Let me know in the chat section. Positive implications or need of central bank digital currency. Let me know in the chat section. The first one is reduction in printing cost. Dematerialization. Praveen, can you elaborate on that? What do you mean by dematerialization when you say dematerialization? Just expand on that a little. Tracking fake money and money laundering. Yes, Rohit, that's very important. Tracking fake money and money laundering. Anything else that you can come up with? We'll be talking very few points here because this part is not asked. Transparency in economy and low corruption. Yes, Amit, that's right. Transparency in economy and low corruption. Yes, everything would be online. What else? Any positive implication or any need? Yes, so Vendu, this is the point I was looking for. This is the exact point I was looking for. Start with the need. The first need to introduce e-rupee was to reduce the use of cryptocurrencies. People have started to have faith in cryptocurrencies because they operate on blockchain, which are more transparent, and people have more faith in blockchain rather than the actual financial systems. That's why your Bitcoin came up. That's why your cryptocurrencies came up. So the need to introduce central bank digital currency or e-rupee was felt when the governments all around the world could not find a way to control other cryptocurrencies, unregulated cryptocurrencies. So now governments all over the world, what they have decided that we will launch our own cryptocurrencies, which will be part of the monetary framework, which will be legal tenders. All right. So the first need is this, to reduce cryptocurrencies, because in e-rupee people will have more faith. It will operate on blockchain. Yes, giving legal binding to blockchain-based currency. That's right, Rohit. Suvendu, reduce price instability. I would want you to expand on this, Suvendu. How will it reduce price instability? By the time Suvendu is typing, let's see what the points we have here. First of all, this answer does not contain the need part. This is something that we have taken from the discussion. So definitely write about the need, because people were moving from legal tenders to these blockchain-based currencies like Bitcoin. That's why CBDCs have been introduced. Add that in your answer. Now coming to the positive implications. It can simplify the implementation of monetary and fiscal policy and promote financial inclusion in the economy by bringing the unbanked into the financial system. That's right or not? Everything would be online. It will reduce the cost of printing, transporting, and storing physical currency, which can be used for the betterment and development of society. There are crores and crores of rupees that RBI is spending on an annual basis. Thousands of crores of rupees that RBI spends on an annual basis for the printing, transportation, and storing of physical currency. Then these have to be soiled back again. So that money, it can be saved and it can be used at other places for the betterment of society. It reduces the scope for counterfeiting of currency. There's so many times when we have counterfeited notes. All right, when we have counterfeited notes circulating in the economy. Finally, it can prevent illicit activity like drug trade, terrorism, human trafficking, etc. because it will exist in digital format and will not require serial numbers for tracking. As of now, what you do to track any amount of cash, any type of cash, we depend on the serial numbers of the bank notes. We depend on the serial numbers. Only then we can figure out that where this cash or this 2000 rupee note or 500 rupee note started from and where is it ending. But with digital rupee or e-rupee, this would become very much easier. All right. Okay, phase 2 admit cards are out. All right, congratulations. 4985 to be precise. All right, all right. All right, Sunil. Okay. So now how many of you feel that we have justified the body part 1? What is CBDC? How many of you feel that, explaining and talking about the need and positive impacts of CBDC, the future positive impacts, right now it's just in pilot mode. How many of you feel that it will be enough for the 7.5 marks of the first part? How many of you feel you have justified part 1 of this question? Then we'll move on to the second part. All right. The second part is, okay, I'm looking at your messages in the chat section. So let's move on to the second part. Yes, we can write some data that can be written, but data, you do not have any domestic data available as of now with regards to the positive impacts of CBDC. All right, it is just, assessment based. It is not actual data because it has to be rolled out on a pan-India basis. If you find any relevant data from, from around the globe that some country launched a CBDC and this is the positive impact, then you can write that as an example. And finally, discuss the advantages and challenges associated with the launching of CBDC in India. Okay, there are more advantages here. First of all, it can help in reducing the dependency on dollar. Do you feel a CBDC can help in reducing the dependency on dollar, as India can establish digital rupee as a superior currency for trade with its strategic partners, thus reducing reliance on the dollar? Yes, that can happen. 6th point, along with reducing operational costs, it will offer public the same features as any other private currency, private virtual currency or cryptocurrency, without any risk associated with it. So since it is a secured blockchain that the government is using for e-rupee, when you deal in bitcoins, that is unsecured or open blockchain. With e-rupee, we have closed or secured blockchains that we are using. All right, so this is more secure, plus it is backed by the government. Finally, it can help with globalization of payment system. It could eliminate the need for an expensive network of correspondent banks to settle cross-border payments. India is the country that receives highest number of remittances from abroad. We have so much of diaspora abroad and they send us money. They send us forex. Now this money, this currency has to be converted into domestic currency with the help of international banks. Once you have e-rupee, you do not need that. You do not have to approach these intermediaries. Now, moving on to the second part. What are the challenges associated with it? Yes, Rohit, that's right. Yes, Sunil, your HDFC and SBI, these are the biggest banks involved in the first phase. You can talk about cities also. Earlier it was Delhi, Mumbai, cities like that. Now they've moved on to Hyderabad as well. And they're moving to tier 2 cities. Varanasi, they're moving. So yes, that can be talked about. But be very sure with your facts. If you know the facts, only then write them. And moving on to body part 2. What are the challenges associated, or what is the negative impact or any issue that you feel can be associated with e-rupee? First of all, do you feel that people will accept it? Or do you feel that it is possible to motivate or inspire people to use CBDC as much as they use cash? Lack of digital literacy. How does it have negative impact on environment? Sunil, expand on that. Yes, lack of digital literacy is there. That's right. So right now also we have a great digital divide. We have so many disparities in our country, and the disparity of this digital divide, that is a new kind of discrimination that is being seen. There is a generation that does not know how to use mobile phones or net banking or UPI, and there are and there is just type of people who are very well versed with such things. So there is a new type of disparity that has already been created. We are trying to cover that up, but that is a new kind of disparity apart from the caste and religion kind of disparities that we have. So if we launch e-rupee, it might as well cause or boost the digital disparity in our country. More data mining, that is with Bitcoin, that you earn Bitcoins only when you have to, internet connectivity and related infrastructure. Sunil, environmental impact is not there with e-rupee, because when you have to get a Bitcoin, only then you have to mine Bitcoins. For that, environmental impacts are there. But with e-rupee, you do not have to mine e-rupee. You just have to earn your money with the jobs that we are doing, or with the payments through which we get, or through the payments that we get. You do not have to mine e-rupee, all right? Cyber security threats, yes, because of this digital illiteracy or digital education, cyber security threats are high in number. Also, there is anonymity associated with cash. Cash money comes with anonymity. Nobody knows where you spent your money. But with digital rupee, wherever you spend your money would be available. That information would be stored. So, with the prevailing digital divide, financial illiteracy and inaccessibility to technology, a digital currency could lead to another form of inequality in the society. What else? E-rupee has the capacity to accumulate sensitive user and payment data on a massive scale. In the wrong hands, this data can be easily used to spy on the private transactions of citizens. Criminals could hack and misuse this information of people, and this has already been happening. It could be increased with the help of e-rupee if enough safeguards are not provided. Then finally, acceptability. Acceptability as a new form of currency remains a question. Traceability of e-rupee transactions could become a deterrent to its uptake in India, where cash transactions are still usually popular, largely because of their anonymity. Where you spend your cash, nobody knows. But with e-rupee or digital rupee, that will not be the case. There will be no anonymity. Yes, that comes, Amit, that comes in the digital infrastructure or accessibility. Not everybody has access to mobile phones. Also, digital services, they're not available in local languages. Biggest problem. Yes, some of your popular applications, they are available in local languages, but other digital services, they are not available in local languages. You can teach a person how to use an application. For example, you can teach a person how to transfer money using a UPI app, or how to see or how to check their bank balance. But any new feature that the app comes up with will not be understood by that person. So you need proper training, especially making things available in the local language. That is a problem. Now moving on towards conclusion. Before that, okay. Yes, it is still in the pilot mode. In the conclusion, you can write that digital rupee or e-rupee is still in the pilot mode, and its efficacy is being tested. It is being tested. Now we are moving to tier 2 cities as well. Earlier we tried in tier 1 cities. Now we are in the phase 2 of its implementation in tier 2 cities as well. So it has to be seen that whether it will have positive impacts for India or not. Disruption of existing financial system. The biggest problem with which comes up with any new technology is, this is the problem with people who are not tech savvy, older people who do not understand, any other language apart from the local language. So they find it hard, and a lot of frauds occur there. So yes, how will you conclude this answer? One thing is this, which the input that Rohit has provided, that it is still in the pilot phase, and proper implementation and regulatory measures, they still remain a challenge. But then we end that India has already successfully transformed itself from a cash-based economy, and we have implemented schemes like direct benefit transfer, Aadhaar seeding, Bheem, UPI, etc. So in the times to come, with the efficacy of steps and with the steps in right direction, we will be able to implement such a measure. But yes, only these pilot projects and mass surveys can tell us that whether e-rupee will be a success or not. So India has successfully transformed itself into a more inclusive society over the years with innovative ideas of Aadhaar, DBT, that is direct benefit transfer, Bheem, UPI, etc. So digital rupee, it holds the potential of transforming lives, provided a proper regulatory framework is put in place and all sections of society are gradually included in the shift. Basically, the problems that we had was financial exclusion because of digital illiteracy, because of lack of infrastructure, and the cases of hacking. So proper regulatory framework, that is something you've given as a solution. So you've given a way forward here. And what you have done, you've also appreciated the efforts of the past, that we have already taken such major steps for the betterment of our country. So e-rupee slowly and gradually will also turn out to be a beneficial step. But proper regulatory framework has to be put in place and all sections of society have to be gradually included. Nobody should feel that, oh my goodness, I'm carrying cash in my pocket, or I'm still using a UPI system or a UPI application. So how will I, and I feel very much backward because of this, because I'm not having digital rupee. Also, your financial system, it would change a lot. People might not require a bank account. I'm just saying it, people might not require a bank account. How it has to function, how digital rupee has to function, it is as of now functioning with SBI, HDFC and other banks, but in the long run, how it has to function, that has to be decided by government. So we can just have a positive approach, we can think positively, but we cannot give any crude data because as of now that is not available. All right, so any doubts regarding this question? Then we move on to the first one here. The first question, or P2P lending. Yes, difficult to tackle inflammatory situations. So when to explain on that? Explain on that a little. Yes, we are moving to question number 1, which was not selected by most of you, that you will answer that. All right. See, with the banking infrastructure, your banks, they deposit money, they keep it with them at some interest rate and they lend it further at a higher interest rate. That is where they earn. Let's say with the digital rupee, I don't want to park my money in the bank. Then what will happen to the banking system? So these are the problems that we need to see. Now coming back to the more important question, CBDC is likely expected in your phase 2 examinations. Prepare that very well. CBDC or e-rupee. That's how you write it. E-rupee. All right. Now moving on to the second question, that is the first question for this discussion. Explain the concept of P2P lending. What are the conceived challenges associated with P2P or peer-to-peer lending in India? Now, yes, Sunil, let me know your doubt. And all the others who are participating in this discussion, please let me know how will you like to start this answer. Explain the concept of P2P lending, peer-to-peer lending. And what are the conceived challenges associated with peer-to-peer lending in India? The second part of the question is very clear. You have to talk about what are the challenges, what are the problems with peer-to-peer lending. Have you read any rules regarding peer-to-peer lending in India? Any one of you? Sunil, that could be a question, but that is going to be a very analytical question. A very analytical question regarding a very technical topic. So as per my knowledge, RBI does not ask analytical questions to that level. Your UPSC civil services exam does ask you such questions, but RBI, if RBI in phase 2, they're asking you anything regarding, you know, latest technology or something that is very recent, then the question will be very simple. If they have to frame an analytical question, then that topic would be old. For example, for PDS, public distribution system, you could be asked to analyze its performance over the past 10 years. Since it started with National Food Security Mission of 2013 and we are in 2023. So yes, that you could see. For old topics, you can see analysis. But for new topics, mostly, you know, analysis is not required, only your knowledge is asked. A need we have already established, if you ever want to write about it, that, you know, to be able to fight with these cryptocurrencies, which were, you know, in vogue all around the globe. You know, last year's budget, it introduced a very high tax for your, you know, benefits or profits on crypto or, you know, all these online currencies or all these online trading that was happening using blockchain technology. So to be able to compete with these currencies, you know, RBI was actually actually motivated to launch a blockchain-backed currency of its own, that is e-rupee. Keshavanand, meaning. Yes, so Rohit will start with definition. Keshavanand will again start with meaning, because again, P2P lending, the direct question here is explain. The directive here is explain. So yes, you will start with that. Explain the concept of P2P lending. Peer-to-peer lending. So sometimes it might happen with terms like P2P lending that you might not be given the full form in the question, but you will start your answer with the full form, and only after writing the full form will you move to this acronym or abbreviation for any question. So let's write it. So basically, for those of you who don't know, let me just remove it for a while so that you listen to me. So peer-to-peer lending, as the name indicates, one person lending to another person, one person taking money from the first person. Peer-to-peer lending is exactly this, that a friend of yours needs money, you give him money at an interest rate. All right, with peer-to-peer lending, you don't lend to your friends, you lend to people probably whom you don't know. So there is between, this is person 1 or peer 1, this is second peer. It could be a person, it could be an organization. And then there is this intermediary who actually makes this transaction possible. All right, this person gets the money back with, let's say, rupee plus interest. This person gets the money back. And this transaction happens with the help of an intermediary. Why does the intermediary come into play? Because the intermediary takes around 1 to 3% of money that was lended or that is being earned. That is the profit that is being made in this transaction by P1. All right, so that is your P2P lending. Your non-banking financial companies, they are acting as intermediaries for P2P lending. Now, it has been seen that with peer-to-peer lending, sometimes the interest rate that this person 1 is earning by lending money is actually greater than FDs that is offered by, the rate of FDs that is offered by banks or mutual funds or any other thing that is prevalent. So that's why more and more people are moving to this P2P lending platform, but enough regulation is not there. So sometimes this P2, person 2 who has got the loan does not return the loan back. And when the loan is not returned back, this intermediary, this motivates P1 to file a legal suit. But even then, sometimes the money is not returned back. And who is facing? This person, P1, who actually lent the money. So that is the problem with P2P lending. 3 days ago, last week, RBI, there was a news in Times of India that RBI has been asking for detailed documents regarding P2P lending from all these intermediaries. Last year, RBI introduced regulations for digital lending. Now this is P2P lending. So RBI might come up with regulations for P2P lending also. And for that, this topic is very important and you must know what are the downsides or challenges associated with P2P lending in India. So first of all, let's explain this, that P2P lending is a transaction. It is a transaction in which a person lends to another person through a Reserve Bank of India regulated NBFC, non-banking financial company platform. So the platform for this money exchange or lending is provided by NBFC, which is regulated by RBI. Borrowers, they can apply for loans. If you want money, you can apply for a loan on a P2P platform. And getting a loan at P2P platform is much easier than getting it from a bank. So borrowers apply for loans on these platforms instead of traditional banks. And they are matched with individual investors willing to lend. If you want to, put your money out there in the market and you want a higher interest rate on it, then you will be known as investor. If you want a loan, you will be known as borrower. That's how this operates. So the platforms act as intermediaries, facilitating this transaction and managing repayments and charge a fee for their efforts. So this is something that we have explained for P2P lending, how it functions. Now get into the little history of it. When did P2P lending come into focus? When you think of taking a loan, or when anybody who is like, financially literate thinks of taking a loan, the first thing that comes to our mind is banks. People who are not financially literate, the first thing that comes to their mind is for taking a loan is money lenders. How has this P2P lending, it has come into fashion? So much so that RBI is wanting to regulate this section more. So let me tell you that it is not a new concept. Though not a new concept, P2P lending became popular globally after the 2008 financial crash. And by 2014, it had come in vogue in India, prompting banking regulator RBI to introduce regulations in 2017. So as of now, only regulations are there. Proper rules are not there. Yes, without collateral also you can take loans many a times. The interest rate would be much higher than the bank, but you can take loans without collateral. That's right, Keshav. So look at this introduction here again. We started by talking about what is P2P lending. We defined it. Then we explained it. By explaining it to the examiner, we also told that it is not something new. We talked about the historical emergence of it. It existed earlier as well, but after the 2008 financial crisis, what happened after 2008 financial crisis? People lost faith in the banking system. People all around the globe, especially in Western countries, they lost faith in the banking system. The first thing that came up after that was cryptocurrency. First one was Bitcoin. The second thing that came up was P2P lending. So both the questions we've seen here. Now let's move on. Let's explain this a bit again. Let's talk about its advantages or why people resort to it, because we have been asked to explain the concept of P2P lending in the question. So we will explain it a little more, but just see, this is our first para. This is our first paragraph. How many lines does it have? The first line ends here, the second here, and the third here. Do not take your paragraphs more than 5 lines, for more than 5 lines. 3 to 5 lines is enough for a paragraph. Then move on to the next paragraph and explain a new side of the situation. For example, here we started with history. This was about definition and explanation. Here we started with history. Now we'll be moving to the why it is used by people, or what are the advantages. So mostly your explain questions are answered in the paragraph format only. They are best answered in the paragraph format. If for explanation I write 5-6 points, yes, the examiner would like it. But even if you write in the paragraph format and you divide the paragraphs accordingly, definition, explanation, history, and then direct benefits to people, then it will be very much clear. P2P lending has gained popularity because of the higher returns offered compared with bank fixed deposits or mutual funds. As I told you, the rate of interest that you get in P2P lending is higher most of the times than a bank, FD or mutual fund. Also, corporate borrowers have the ability to obtain these loans without providing collateral. Again, second benefit, what you can do is point 1, point 2. Most platforms allow borrowers to cancel loan contracts prematurely without paying a prepayment penalty. With regular banking system, what is the thing? You cannot repay your loan before a certain date. You can start to repay your loan only after a certain date. Till that date, you just have to pay for the installment and interest of the bank. But with P2P lending, that is not the case. You can repay your loan anytime without any penalty. Fourth, the other advantages seen mainly are lower transaction costs in the loan application process and a much shorter time span when compared to bank loans from first contact until the loan payout is received. So now this final point number 4 has been dealt with very much with the help of digital lending, but still people are resorting to P2P lending a lot because of the absence of collateral and because of the flexibility involved. Now this is something that we used to explain. These are good 150 words for your answer. Now we'll move on to the second part of this question, that is challenges. Now what are the challenges associated with P2P lending? What are the issues or challenges that can be associated with peer-to-peer lending? First of all, elaborate rules by RBI. They are not present. Regulations came up only in 2017. No guidelines. Yes, Amit, that is right. By the end of this year, you might see RBI releasing guidelines for these P2P lending platforms. Credit risk is there. If your loan is not paid back, the NBFC involved, it is just the intermediary. It is not the guarantor. It does not take the guarantee of repayment. Strict regulations, not present. Counterparty risk, yes. Since the processes of taking a loan, they are flexible and they are easy. So chances of corruption, chances of fake identity or, not returning the loans, they are much higher. No government protection, DICGC, yes. Your bank accounts, your 5 lakh insurance is there on your credit that lies with the bank. Up to 5 lakh insurance is there. Previously it was 1 lakh rupees, now it's 5 lakh. But with peer-to-peer lending, you're basically investing somewhere. There is no insurance. Yes, no government protection. Very good, Keshav. So this point is not there in the answer, but this is an additional point that we have got. Insurance on the investment. First of all, late interest or principal repayments and failure to pay loans. So we'll not delve into the details of it, but yes. Secondly, lack of legal disclosure of risk for lenders. No uniform standards to calculate profit returns. Every P2P lender, for example, your apps like MobiKwik, and there are so many P2P lending apps like that, so many platforms like that. Every lender is offering a different interest rate. And how do they bring customers? How do they attract customers? By saying that yes, the investment would be secure. And how do they say that the investment is secure? They use their balance sheets to show that you can trust us. So this is what RBI is against. Lack of disclosure about platforms and borrowers. Then you have lack of transparency regarding credit assessment. This is the balance sheet problem that I was talking about. And finally, you can say that there is no government insurance. So that would be our 6th point. Very good, Keshav. Any other negative impacts that you can come up with? Any other thing that you can think of? All right, for those of you who are not able to come up with anything, any new challenge, how will you conclude this answer? Will you give a way forward? or will you instruct the government? Can you give a way forward here? Or will you instruct the government? Or will you write something for the people that people should not trust P2P lending activities and they should keep their money with the banks? What will you do in the conclusion? Let me know in the chat section. Counterparty risk is there. Yes, Amit, that's very good. Rohit, what will you write in your way forward? By bringing it in legality. Yes. More elaborate rules and regulations are required. And they are required, and then give the example of RBI that yes, RBI has been demanding detailed information from the most popular P2P lending platforms since this March 2023. Yes, you can cite that as an example, that despite the risk associated with it, we are moving towards a stronger regulatory framework. Improving transparency. All right, if possible, proper identification of borrowers. That's very good. That's very right. So yes, it is perceived by financial experts. First of all, whenever there is some negativity associated with something, let's say I talk to you about challenges of public distribution system, what are the issues associated with PDS? So you will write that yes, these are the issues associated with PDS. But in your conclusion, always give one line appreciating PDS, that it has, provided subsidized food grains to so many people out there. Similarly, we'll do here that P2P is something we cannot do away with. In the coming times, people will look for flexible loans. People will look for higher interest rates, higher than normal fixed deposits than they're getting in the banks. And in the coming times, we want our NBFCs to grow as well. All right, we do not want them to be dependent. So yes, it is perceived by financial experts that web-based financial intermediation on a peer-to-peer basis will eventually prevail as an economically superior form of organization compared to the traditional banking business model. Now that's a very strong statement to make. You are saying that the traditional banking model, traditional banking business model will be overtaken by this P2P lending platforms. So what you have done, you've made a very strong statement, but you have used the word financial experts. So you are not saying it is perceived by financial experts. Yes, that's right. It's good to diversify investment portfolio. Sunil, again, you can mention financial experts here or investment experts. Any strong suggestion that you're giving, just say according to researchers, according to experts, according to estimates. Recently, RBI sent detailed questions to registered P2P lending startups after digital payments and digital lending. A uniform and dedicated regulation for crowdfunding through P2P is needed to provide financial service platforms and their users with the necessary legal confidence and certainty to expand their activities freely. So that's our answer. If you have any suggestions, let me know in the chat section. If you have any more suggestions regarding challenges, regarding the explanation that we gave for P2P and that anything regarding conclusion that you have here, let me know in the chat section. All right. So yes, so that brings us to the end of this discussion. I hope these discussions are becoming more and more fruitful for you, especially for the people who have been watching since day one and for the people who are watching our recorded lectures or who are not a part of live sessions because of paucity of time. All of you, I just have, we receive a lot of calls and students, sometimes they feel anxious that there is such less number of days left. What do I do? That's okay. Everybody has the same amount of time, and RBI Grade B, this phase 2 examination, it will do some level of scaling for old aspirants and new aspirants. So whatever tools you have, whatever resources you have, without worrying about the results. Just give your 100% to your preparation. Whatever time you have, do not waste it in anxiety or overthinking. Just keep working hard. All right, just keep working till you complete your final paper, final examination. All right, so I'll see you tomorrow. If you have some feedback for us, you can share your feedback on hello@edutap.co.in. My name is Surbhi. So if you have any feedback regarding this session, you can send us. You can email us at hello@edutap.co.in. If you have any doubts with regards to phase 2 preparation or with regards to RBI Grade B, if you are sitting for the examination next year, contact us. Book a session with us at 8146-207-241. All right. Thank you, all of you. Keep working hard and wishing you all the very best for your results.